And I'm going to introduce now Scott Mills. Scott's the training manager at No to Violence. It's based in Melbourne. He's come up specially for today. He's spent 15 years working with men who use family violence in trying to make a change for some of those men, and much of that has been extremely successful. But we welcome Scott today. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I just want to congratulate everyone on a terrific turnout today. It's absolutely fantastic and amazing. For the last 25 years, No to Violence has been working with men and working with organisations who work with men to end their use of family violence. In that time, we've run a telephone service and we've had 130,000 conversations with men around their use of family violence. And excuse me if I'm a trainer and an educator, so every now and then I'm going to turn around and look at an imaginary whiteboard that's not there, so I apologise. But what's really interesting over the journey of working with men, and to be very clear, we are working with men to end their use of violence against women and children. Yeah, we are focusing on working with men so that they can be accountable to their family members, so that they can take responsibility for their use of violence and ultimately change their behaviour. So post-Royal Commission, we've really, as a sector, we've tried to build a system that holds men to account. You know, and in my experience over the years, one of the things that we really also need to do is we need to invite men to be part of these conversations. We need to invite them to be accountable, and we need to invite them to reflect on the impact of their behaviour and build empathy for the people that they are saying that they love, but they are actually causing significant harm to. And one of the other things I've learned is that I can't make people change. I can't tell men that they need to change and that will change their behaviour. I wish it was that easy. But what I can do is I can engage them in a conversation. I can talk to them and I can invite them to reflect, to consider the impact of their behaviour, to think about alternatives, and to unpack the stereotyped thinking they have about being a man and being a woman. Because make no bones about it, these belief systems about gender, about what it means to be a man, are the primary drivers for family violence. And this belief that men are entitled to certain positions really drives that control that we see in family violence. And when we talk about family violence, obviously we are talking about the homicides and the awful things that are happening in the broader community. But we are talking about controlling behaviours, psychological abuse, social control, emotional control, financial controls. These are the patterns we see in the men we work with. So our job is to work with them in groups often, to unpack these thoughts and these behaviours, to think about and to invite them to consider the impact it has on their family members. But what's been terrific for us over the last couple of years is a real shift from why do we need to address this? I think we all know why, and the statistics are damning. We understand why we need to make these changes. But now we're getting to the how. And to make this change, we have to engage men in this process. So for all of you, I look out into a great crowd and a terrific numbers, and there's a lot of men and women and children here, to invite you to think about how you think about gender, how you think about men's roles. What do you think about women's roles? Yep. And to have those conversations with people in your lives, to talk to them about this, to ask them. Don't just tell them they're wrong. Have a conversation with them and inquire and explore other possibilities. Because ultimately, if we want to change this behaviour, men are going to have to take responsibility for it, and we're going to have to engage them in that conversation. Thank you very much.